All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Puck Rock Rangers. I'm Stefan, joined by me as always, my co-host Palmer, and we got a good bit to talk about in today's episode. So, yeah, it is what it is. So let's get into it. All right, so we haven't done an episode in quite some time here, and we thought it would only be right to kind of do a season recap. And if you guys remember, if you guys have been sticking with us since day one, you would know that before the season started, Palmer and I made predictions for every single player. We came up with goals, assists, and points in total, and then we each did two hot take predictions on what all the players would pretty much do throughout the season. So today's episode, what we're going to do is we're going to review our preseason predictions, and then we're going to tell you what we predicted, and then we're going to tell you what actually happened. So you could see how we're going to have a lot of fun with this, because we were pretty
bullish on some of these guys. I mean, how could you not? Coming into this season, a lot of the guys had career highs, which I think we were realistic on some of those, maybe not expecting them to peak what they did, but at least kind of hang in there with their numbers from the previous year. So we'll get into it. I think you kept a good record of it. I remember some of my takes, but not all of them.
I made a post on it on our Punk Rock Rangers Instagram, so I just got to find the picture with our predictions. Give me just a second.
While he's looking for that, it feels good to be back. We missed a couple weeks because of some scheduling and some personal things going on, but we're back at it. We're going to try to get back to regular episodes. Right now, it is the 12th of May. Second round of NHL playoffs are in full swing. Last time you heard from us, the season was winding down, and the Rangers, I don't even know if they'd been eliminated yet, but they did not make the playoffs, had a terrible season, and looked to shake a lot of things up. So, let's get into...
Palmer's got the Canes-Caps game on right now. They're playing Game 4?
Yep. Game 4, late in the second, and Canes are up 2-0.
Good. Screw the Capitals.
Yep.
But yeah, we usually let you guys know what's been going on with us. I kind of got too excited and just skipped right over that. So before we get into these predictions, anything new going on, man?
Nothing new. Just still working, still writing some music. Coded's coming along. Hopefully, we get some shows and a record or a release out soon. Other than that, you kind of know beyond the veil what's going on.
Yep.
It's been a rough couple weeks for the Palmster, but we're hanging in there, and things are looking up. So, what about you? I've been enjoying the playoffs. I've been enjoying the summer weather every bit that I can, and seeing that you've done some things, taken some days off. What have you been up to?
Yeah, I had the whole weekend off, and it was nice. Friday was the day that Megan and I had been together for 5 years. So nice. We had a nice time with each other, and we made a nice dinner, and we had we didn't do anything crazy, but we watched a couple movies together, put the kids to bed early, watched some movies, just hung out and had a really nice evening. And yeah, Saturday we hung out with the father-in-law, Leahy, but actually Leahy's doing really good in life. We gotta come up with a new name for him because Leahy's not fitting anymore. And then Sunday on Mother's Day we went for a walk at Pony Pasture, which is a nice river park here in just right outside of Richmond, or maybe it's right inside of Richmond. But and then after that we met up with our mom, and we all went on the annual small pond fishing day. And yeah, my daughter, she caught a bunch. Everybody caught a bunch of fish. Palmer caught a bunch. Megan caught a bunch. The kids all caught a bunch. Everybody was just pulling them in one after another, and you can't complain about that. So yeah, life's been pretty good. And you want to get into these hellacious predictions that we fell short on in so many ways?
Yes, let's get into that really quickly though first. Yes. Something I did want to mention It was a episode of Puck Rock Rangers that we're still putting together, but we have the live streams available on our Instagram as well as Cicada Records and Heavy as the Head's Instagrams. So Heavy as the Head came in Thursday. They did their thing. They played their EP For Your Loss, and then I interviewed them for probably an hour and a half. It was a long interview.
Yeah.
In a good way. It felt like hanging out with some friends and just kind of chopping it up. Those are good dudes. So check that interview out. The live streams are available on all of our Instagrams, and we're going to get the videos together, very similar to what we did with Fit Check. So go ahead and check that out. Got some new things lined up, or other bands lined up in the future, and we're going to try to keep those music episodes coming here and there too. But during the off season, I think we're going to we discussed maybe one a month or one every 2 weeks. We're going to kind of play it by ear based on what's going on. If the Rangers make some news, we'll get together. If it's been quiet, you might not hear from us so much. But if you're watching this video and you haven't, check us out on X and Instagram.
And just want to apologize beforehand. I couldn't attend the interview just because I work evenings and then I work weekends. And if you know anything about band life, getting a handful of grown adults together on schedule, it takes some time. There's always one person who can't or one person who can, and then just getting that perfect time. It was just easier for me to say Palmer take over on this one. So that's why I wasn't able to attend. But why don't we get into
let's get into it.
Let's get into our first miss. Our first major miss, which we both made a prediction for how the team as a whole, how many points they would finish the season with and where they would finish in the division. No surprise, Palmer and I, we both picked the Rangers coming out first in the division. I had them at 108 points. Palmer had them at 106 points. Boy, were we wrong. We didn't even break 90.
Yeah. And in a weak East where I don't remember what the clinching number was, but I think it was under 100 points, or it was like high 90s.
It was like low 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Just because of how bad the Metro was, you really didn't have to have that many points because the Central was the Atlantic was much stronger than the Metro.
Yeah, both wild cards went to the Atlantic.
Yeah, Montreal and Ottawa. Yep, two Canadian teams.
So yeah, we were way off on that, and we predicted. I think they were at like 114 or 120 points before. We really should have looked this up. We're a little rusty, so bear with us. So we both projected them to step down a little bit, but not like they did. I don't think anyone, even the biggest Ranger doubter hater, I don't think predicted what we saw this season.
No. All right, so next we got Meeka Zibanejad. Palmer, let's see who's more wrong on this. I think most of these I was a little more bullish than Paul. I think Palmer was a little more realistic on most of these, so I'm farther off. I'm treating this as a competition right now. Who was worse? Who made a worse prediction? And for Meeka Zibanejad, I had him with 39 goals, 49 assists, and 88 points.
Hold on, we need to look up where these guys finished?
So you pull up the actual number. What I had, what Palmer had was Meeka for 35 goals, 50 assists, and 85 points total. I was more wrong. I had 88 points. Palmer had 85 points. We just expected our 1C to be a point per game player. And
all right, so I'm sorry, read Mika's numbers again.
So Meeka, we had I had him 39 goals, 49 assists, 88 points. You had him 35 goals, 50 assists, and 85 points. How many points did he actually have?
He had 62 points.
We're both like 20 off, over 20 off.
Way off. And that's significant. And a minus 22. That's awful.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even do plus minuses.
Team leading, or yeah. I guess the opposite of a lead. But yeah, just terrible there. All right, so who's next?
Next is Kreider. Oh, right. My goodness. This is
Kreider.
Chris Kreider. I mean,
one thing I did say about Kreider, I remember saying this, is that he wasn't much of an assist man. Boy, was I right.
Yeah, what did he have? 2 primary assists in the whole season?
So Kreider, what did he predict?
What did we predict? So I had Chris Kreider for 77 points.
Ooh.
You had him for 72 points. So once again, I was more wrong than Palmer. I'm so sorry that I just believed in our top guys to do top guy things. Like,
How could you?
excuse me for thinking that Chris Kreider, the third period natural hat trick as soon as last season to close out the second round of the playoffs. Excuse me for thinking that he would do anything good this season. But yeah, so a little more detailed is I had him for 39 goals and 38 assists, 77 points. Palmer had him 41 goals, 31 assists, and 72 points. What did he actually have?
He had 30 points. We're talking about 31 assists, and he had 20,
39 goals. He had 31
He had 22 goals and 8 assists for 30 points.
That's our guy.
That is very, very meager.
Yeah, meager Shesterkin.
3 gore.
Yeah, 3 gore. All right, so next we're gonna have Riley Smith. Should we even do this? Because he didn't finish out the season.
No, irrelevant.
He didn't even finish out the season. He went over to the Golden Knights to try to help win them another Stanley Cup.
And he got that OT winner.
Yeah, smart guy. Yeah. I mean, can you blame him?
Look, I don't want to go back. Look, I don't hold anything against Riley Smith. I really don't have that many memories of him here. It's almost like it never happened. So, moving on.
Artemi Panarin, Breadman.
The Breadman.
Boy. All right, so Breadman, I had him for 44 goals. I wasn't that far off with the goals.
No, not far.
He had, what, 39 goals?
37.
37 goals. So I had him 44 goals, 62 assists. How many assists he had?
52.
So I was 10 off on that. 103 points is what I had him. Palmer had him for 50 goals, 52 assists. What do you have, 53 assists?
52 assists. I was close there.
Wait, he had 52 assists?
Yeah.
You had him for 52 assists.
Nice.
Dang, Palmer got Breadman right on the money for the assist. Palmer had him for 102 points. So I had him 100. Oh, man, I had him for 108. Palmer had him for 102. What was his point?
89.
89 points. So
And Breadman, though he's not the big physical specimen game breaker that we feel like we need to win the cup, he still had a good season, still put up numbers. Obviously there was the allegation thing that came around right at the end of the season. That's been reported. We're really not going to get into that because we really don't know.
Nobody really knows.
Money was exchanged. Where there's smoke, there's fire. But we'll leave it at that.
Yep. All right. Vinny Trocheck.
Vincent Trocheck had an up and down season. I still think he brought a lot to the table. And people, it's funny. Before we get into his numbers, people were very critical on his numbers. His numbers were very similar to last season, and last season was a record year.
If I'm not
mistaken, he had
mistaken,
a lot more assists. He had the same amount of goals.
I thought he had more goals this year than he had last year.
Same or more, but a lot more assists last year. But Laffy and Panarin were scoring more too.
You look at the situation. Nobody on this team did better this year than they did last year.
Cooley.
Hold on, we got to go over the points.
Cooley and Rempe.
Yeah, Cooley did do better. Let's see. Trocheck, I had him for 32 goals, 48 assists, 80 points. Palmer had him for 25 goals, 55 assists. How many goals did he have?
26. I was close.
So Palmer had him for 25. He actually had 26. So 55 assists and 80 points total. What was his total points again?
So he was 26 goals, 33 assists for 59 points.
Holy.
And a 0. No plus, no minus, just a 0.
We suck. We suck.
I've hit a couple close. I got one assist right on and a goal one off. So
all right. So we did not do everyone. We just did our top six picks. So this is the last one before we get into our hot take predictions. Lafreniere. It's like every name we bring up next, it's just like, ugh.
You have to groan.
Every single name is like is just as bad as the one before. Like, yeah, jeez.
Lafreniere, I got some things to say about that kid.
All right, so I had him for 44 goals. And I remember in the beginning of the season, when the first like 10 games or so, he was looking like he was about to crush it. And I made a prediction that he's going to have 40 goals, and all of them would be 5-on-5 goals. I had Lafreniere doing some big things this year, and he looked like he was going to do it. Signed a contract. I guess he just couldn't cope under the pressure. things didn't work out, but I had him for 44 goals, 36 assists, and 80 points.
Mm.
Palmer had him for 35 goals, 41 assists, 76 points.
So bad.
What do you have, 16 goals?
He had 17 goals, 28 assists for 45 points. And just to put that in perspective, Will Cooley, our beloved third-line plugger, who has...
Hold on, that's one of our takes.
Okay, all right. We'll get into
That's
him
one of our
We'll
takes.
get into him then.
So that was our predictions for the top 6 guys. Not one of them gave us a good taste in our mouth. Not one of them lived up to our expectations of them in this season. That's just how the season went.
The thing that keeps you up at night about Lafreniere is, Meeka was in his head and had the yips, but he's older. Kreider's, came out after and said he had 3 different injuries, battled them all at different points during the year. Stuff like that's tangible. You can see or understand that. Lafreniere is what, 26? I don't know exactly how old he is. He's got to be right in that range of years. Just got paid, had a great season, an even better postseason last year. And it's just, we've all talked about it, and it's almost a cliche at this point, but he signed the contract and started sucking. Like, he actually had a pretty decent start to the season.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't want to feed the narrative that, he signed the contract to stop playing. I don't think that's what happened. Whether it's pressure or expectation, or he's the general, like a vibes guy, and vibes were in the toilet, and so did he. He followed suit. And watch his exit interview. The exit interviews, let's be honest, it is a charade. It is a bunch of bullshit. These guys are saying whatever they can.
Would you call him Salad Boy?
Yeah, Salad Boy. They're saying whatever they can to get the camera out of their face and get onto the golf course. And out of all the bullshit that I heard, and out of all the exit interviews that I hated, the one that stood out to me the most was Lafreniere's, because he just didn't give a shit. I don't know if you watched his, and I try not to feed too much. He didn't give a shit. It lasted about a minute 20. And you think we're paying him $7 million a season? He just signed a contract, and we need him to be the future of this team, and he can't even stand there and answer the questions. It's staggering how much I don't like this team. It's hard to believe from last year of the last 2 seasons, the last couple seasons have wrapped up, and I think I even posted on Facebook, win or lose, I'm proud of this team. There was no such post this year. You didn't hear from me. And obviously, the Rangers got beat up by the Devils and then eliminated for the playoffs, and that's kind of how the season ended. And you didn't hear from us for a while. It wasn't because of that. We don't hide from it, but we had some other things going on. But what a disappointment.
And boy, can I say how sweet it was seeing the Devils losing 5? I was extremely happy to see the Devils losing 5.
And obviously this is gonna sound like a salty Ranger fan, but
I'm a salty Ranger fan.
They play us different, man. They are not the same team against other teams.
Yeah.
They play us, it's like the 95 Red Wings. But against everyone else, they're mid. They are mid, they're small, they're fast, they're,
Instagram hockey.
It really is Instagram. It's almost OnlyFans hockey.
I joked OnlyFans hockey, yeah. That's good stuff.
Tumblr hockey.
All right, so let's get to these hot take predictions. We had 2 apiece. It was just random. We didn't both make them, but we both made 2 for 2 different, or we each made 1 for 2 different players. First, Palmer was pretty close with this one. He said Will Cooley for 25 goals. I think Will Cooley finished with what, 20?
Yeah, 20 goals.
20 goals exactly. That takes me back to John Chick on Locked On Rangers. This earlier in the season, he said that he had Cooley for 20 goals, and I remember he noticed that we were pretty bullish on them saying that 25, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 30 next year.
And yeah, obviously ifs and buts were berries and nuts. Every day would be Christmas. Will Cooley had probably 3 goals called back, and then was ripped away from the Kakko Cooley Hedl line that was doing so well. So I maintain that, if the season wasn't such a dumpster fire and they would have kept good line mates around him and didn't sink him with the corpse of Mika Zibanejad, he could have had 25 goals. So He's my dude. I'm excited to see what Roger Klotz has in store for us next season. But just to read off his stats real quick, he had 20 goals, 25 assists for 45 points, exactly tied in points with Alexis Lafreniere. Couple more goals, couple less assists, but the biggest difference here, Lafreniere wears it on his back 13. He was minus 13 on the season. Will Cooley's plus 12. So what are you doing with those points? What are you doing with that time that you're on the ice? The proof's in the pudding. Salad Boy needs to get shredded.
Quit tossing everyone's salads and get on the ice.
Enough lettuce and filler, more protein.
Now this next one, I think Palmer may have been onto something. I think he actually might have underpredicted this guy. He went for Sam Carrick on 12 points. I think Sam Carrick got more than 12 points. If I'm not mistaken, Sam Carrick had at least like 7 or 8 goals alone.
Hey, all right. So Sam Carrick had 6 goals, 14 assists for 20 points.
Hey, dude, you undershot him. You were so not bullish on him.
And I predicted what I thought would happen because he's a fourth line plug-a-roo.
Check it out. This is Sam Carrick's shirt. Get you some.
I was okay with the signing when we brought him in, and I'm even more okay with it now. I like Sam a lot. We both bought syrup. Still have some in my fridge.
Use it every time.
Yeah.
Use it here and there.
Hey, Sam Carrick came in, had a job to do, and did it very well. So big marks to Syrup Sam.
All right. So now we get to my hot take predictions. I had Capo Caco for 25 goals. I actually made a bet with Palmer for $20 that Capo Caco would get 25 goals.
As a Ranger.
And because he got traded over to Seattle, that took the bet and it turned it off. But is there a way you can see how many he had in the season?
Yep.
So, so Capo Caco for 25 goals throughout the whole season.
Capo Caco this year had 14 goals, 30 assists for 44 points.
Not bad. He did decent. He seemed like he was doing pretty good when he was playing with us before he got traded. He was one of our most consistent.
Make no mistakes about it. For the first grouping or first majority of the season, first part of the season, that was the best line we had. Cooley, Caco, Hedl.
Yeah. So my second hot take, I was way off, but I had Rempe for 12 goals. I think you got like 3?
Probably 3. Yeah.
You got 3, maybe 4.
I remember
3 goals is what he got.
I remember telling you at the time that was a scorching hot take, but let's pull up the Remster, see how he did.
Well, let's not forget he had more goals than Ovechkin in last year's playoffs.
In last year's playoffs, that is true. He was 20th in points on the team with 3 goals, 5 assists for 8 points and a +7.
And he didn't even have as much points as I had him for goals. I don't know. I'm tripping. But it seems like every single time he was out there, his line was always giving it to him. The other team was not prepared. I think we really did have one of the strongest fourth lines in the league, which isn't saying much, but our fourth line gave other teams' top lines issues.
You need a good fourth line, but a good fourth line and really a good third line. It's a luxury. You need your top guys to compete. You need your top guys. Look at what Rantanen's doing. And
he's leading the entire playoffs in goals. He's got 9 goals in the playoffs.
Look at a guy like Nathan McKinnon, Crosby. The Rangers don't have anything even close to that. The closest we have to that is Panarin, who will at best get his points, but Panarin's not the hey, I got this, put the team on his back type of guy.
It's supposed to be Kreider who's that guy, but
and Kreider. So I'm just gonna put this out because this is our pod. I'm just gonna say it now, and I'm almost issuing this as a challenge to Drury. But I have this scary feeling that he ain't doing shit this offseason. I have a scary feeling that Kreider's back, that Meeka's back, that Miller's back, that Panarin's back, that the whole band is back again, and we're gonna run this back. Do you have that same fear?
Kinda.
Everyone is talking about Kreider like he's already gone. And I just have this sneaky, scary feeling, and I feel like I'm alone in this because I listen to a lot of Ranger pods, and no one else is saying this. And maybe I'm a bozo, but I have a sneaky bad feeling that not a lot of changes are happening, not as many as you want.
Yeah, I mean, I get that too. Part of me is like worried about it, but then the other part of me is like everybody on the team underperformed so severely. And for that to happen 2 seasons in a row, I just don't see it. I think that the Rangers will have somewhat of a bounce back season next year. I don't know what was going on in that locker room, but I think there was more to what than what meets the eye. There's just no it doesn't make sense. There's just no way they did as bad as they did without something else going on that we just didn't know about. And they have the summer to figure it out. Hopefully, they do figure it out. And that leads me to my next topic. How do you feel about the Mike Sullivan hire? A lot's happened since we last recorded, and I kind of want to. I definitely want to talk about this a little bit.
I'm excited about him. I'm excited about it in the sense where we are getting a solid coach that I could see us having for the next 10 years or more. If if things work out, him and Drury have a relationship that goes a long way. Him and Drury and Laviolette were professional and cordial at best, but they were not tight. Drury would bring guys in, Lavi would bench them. So you're gonna have that lock and step, hand in hand, hopefully, marriage between front office and coach, and hopefully they can usher in some good seasons and turn this thing around. What do you think?
Um, so. I don't think it's the make or break for this team, but I do think it is an upgrade. I think that Mike Sullivan is definitely an upgrade from Laviolette. Laviolette lost the room. The coach is responsible for like if your guys start to stray away, like Laviolette was making questionable decisions all season long, like things that like casual fans would be like, why did he do that? Like people who don't understand the game of hockey would be asking, why did he do that? Why is this guy not playing? Like why is this player uh, being rewarded for playing terribly? And
Oh, this
the more the season went on, the more and more I just realized that he was just not connected. There was a disconnect with the team. And it was great last season, but this year was just it was painful to watch. And I think Mike Sullivan will I think Mike Sullivan's the type of coach who's more like personable with the players. I think that if something's going on, I think he's the type of guy who's going to be like, well, we got to get to the bottom of this. Pull your heads out of your asses. Let's figure it out. Um, yeah, it's an upgrade. I'm excited. I think there's more changes that need to be made besides just a head coach. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's just a wait and see
this
type thing.
this season was basically like a toothache, and you don't have an appointment for a week, and you're doing everything you can to try to make things better at home, and all these little trying clove and whiskey on a cotton tip and everything you can try to make that tooth feel a little better,
Yeah.
and it just never got better.
Then you're eating a burger
You,
and one
you
of
know,
those little rubber pieces gets there and you
mm.
just chomp down on it and it like gnaws at your it just sends
I
a
mean,
jolt through your face. That was the Avalanche game where we gave up that goal at the very end of the game, like
the
stuff like that. It
season,
was just so many letdowns.
it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Like when you think it's like, okay, they'll turn this around, they just never did. And you have, very, fans of varying degrees of delusion or happiness or
Yeah.
positivity that were thinking, oh, they'll right the ship and they'll make the playoffs and we got the hot goalie. It never happened.
Yeah.
And they didn't want it, dude. Look, we can beat the drum about this team quit. I am convinced that there's parts of this team that quit back in January, back in December. But at the same time, I mean, you owe it to your teammates to play hard. You owe it to the younger guys that are coming in. And something that blows my mind about this team, and I can't speak for every other team, but you look at a team like Tampa Bay. They threw Stamkos out like he was trash. That guy won 2 cups with them, and they threw him out like he was nothing. And the ship moves on. You didn't have people belly aching and bitching and crying about, oh, I just wish there was more. Like, I'll be honest, Meeka, you're a fucking clown. I know you're not watching this. You're probably working on some shitty ass dubstep
career.
But like, dude, you're a clown. And I hope that during the off season, he's in the gym working out with someone, and you ever have a conversation with your boy and he's bullshit, and you can't go along with it. You're like, dude, look, I don't agree with that. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I hope someone keeps it real with him. It's like, Meeka, what do you expect, dude? What do you expect?
Yeah, very unprofessional.
I mean, I almost said the P word. I'm gonna hold myself. I'm gonna stop. What do you got to say, Stefan?
Not just Meeka.
No, it's not just Meeka, but he was the one in the exit interview that everything he said circled back to everything he said, even when he was critical about his own game. Everything he said, old mousy Meeka, well, it goes back to communication. Look, dude, I've had jobs. I'm a big communicator. Sometimes sometimes you don't, man. I mean, the difference between that and Meeka was I wasn't getting paid millions of dollars. It's ridiculous, man. Yeah. Look, I'll never look at Meeka the same way, ever. I mean, maybe if he comes out and scores 100 points next year and we win the cup, maybe. But I don't see that happen, man. Meeka is 10-ply paper, toilet paper soft, and I'm pretty over him.
Yeah, I'm pretty over him too. I'm more over him than I am Chris Kreider. And the only reason I say that is because
Kreider's injured.
Kreider was playing injured after his exit interview. He was rattling off thing after thing after thing.
I just pulled up the stats.
Serious crap that like messes with your head mentally if you're trying to work through it.
Meeka played all 82 games.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. You go on down the line and you're looking at all these guys that had crappy seasons. Alexi Lafreniere, 82 games.
Will Cooley, 81 games? I think he got scratched one game.
Cooley, 82 games.
82?
Vincent Trocheck, 82 games. But so we have health. We can't, Kreider was dinged up. I'm not making excuses. I think Kreider was pretty checked out. But it's easy for us to say he's checked out when we're on the couch. We don't know what these guys are dealing with.
That's what I'm saying.
We've at least seen it with Kreider. Like, Meeka has not had these overtime, or I'm sorry, playoff moments. No. Old mousy Meeka, we all talk about the 5 goals versus, was that Washington or Philadelphia back in the day? Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Now you done pissed me off, Stephanie.
It makes it tough to be a fan, but
because you want to root for these guys, and you see a scrum breaking out, and Meeka's over there doing little swirls. I mean, I'm done with him, dude. I'm done with Meeka. I want Meeka and Keandre Miller. Those are my 1 and 2 off this team.
Yeah, I don't really have too much more. I mean, we could sit here and be pissed off all night about what they didn't do.
Well, they keep signing these bums.
They do, and they keep giving them move clauses.
Useless Parsonen signs a deal. We got Susi's locked up.
Urinal Vakanainen.
Vakanainen's locked up. I mean, all these shitty ass yard sale additions, and we're locking them up. And people are talking. The fans are playing chess, but they're playing checkers.
Yeah, they are.
The fans have an idea of how to change the team. Does Drury?
I don't know. He just got an extension, so
I mean,
it's basically Dolan giving the double barrel middle finger to the entire fan base, because I'm pretty sure that he could pick up on a vibe, and the vibe was that the fan base was done with Chris Drury. They just don't trust that he's the guy to make it happen, and they doubled down and said, "You know what? Deal with it." So it makes you feel underappreciated as a fan. And I kept joking with people like, "Don't forget to go to the 82nd game at MSG. Don't forget to go there and get your appreciation tote, where they're giving all the fans little tote bags for appreciation."
Yeah,
Thank you for appreciating a team that completely quit and lets you down. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Do you want to keep ranting? We can keep ranting.
No, I don't. I wanted to keep it short, and I'm fired up. So we're gonna let it go here.
So we've been going for about 35 minutes. Is there anything else that's just?
I'm trying to think. I mean, Joe Micheletti retired. Big whoop. Would you say? I saw you on. Was it Rangers Central the other day? You said that's the head title of Big Whoop magazine.
Oh yeah, I said that we'll find it on the cover of Big Whoop magazine.
Big Whoop magazine.
I got that from Futurama. He says, "I'm back from making the pizza delivery, Mr. Panucci." He said, "Oh, he said, good." He said, "Congratulations! I'll put it on the cover of Big Whoop magazine."
Big whoop.
I use that one from time to time.
Oh yeah, shout out Futurama.
Yes.
That's all I have, man. We're gonna try to get together soon, especially if something Rangers happens. If nothing Ranger oriented really happens, maybe again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll enjoy our summer like you should be doing. And if something happens, then we'll break the news a week or two after it happens because that's just how we do. We're not we told everyone from the beginning we're not the uptight stringent uh be the first one to it. We just give you a different take of it when we get to it because this is how we do. It's a nice relaxed, chilled, something different type of Rangers podcast where we're not uptight and got our panties in a bunch.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I agree. Please like, follow, subscribe. We say it every episode.
yeah.
It helps. It helps the algorithm. Tell a friend, tell a Rangers fan, tell a hockey
Tell your
fan,
grandma.
a fan of hardcore or punk rock. Keep an eye out for that. We're gonna keep some artists coming through and doing either live sets or interviews or just play their video or song or whatever they want to do. So we're gonna keep that going. And we'll keep you updated. Maybe we'll touch up in a couple weeks and see where things are at.
Maybe we'll be a little more tan for the next episode. Palmer, you look pretty tan. Look at you in the camera.
Yeah.
Looking a little bit tan.
I've been out in the sun, working on the farm and then working at the garden at home. Before we sign off, man, just love your people, spend your time, love your dogs, and take care of each other.
And everybody, send your thoughts for Palmer's dog. He's not doing great. So we want him to do better. You got anything else, man?
That's it. I'm spent. Let's get out of here.
Forever hold your peace.
Till next time.
All right, take care, guys.